Hello there, and welcome to Ask MandR episode 310. And by the end of this episode, you'll know what the sixth and final LEGO Star Wars 25th Anniversary Minifigure is. If you have a question or topic for next week's episode, leave in the comments section below. Hit the like button while you're there, and let's get into it with our first viewer question from Altman2. He says, what are some iconic pieces of LEGO Star Wars that should never change, no matter how outdated they get? And to me, this one's pretty simple. I think regular clone slash stormtrooper, like trooper blasters, are probably set in stone for a long dang time. Unless LEGO comes to their senses and starts making like actual movie and show accurate blasters and rifles, then I see zero reason to change what to me has become a very iconic piece. The same can probably be said for the basic lightsaber hilt. I still love that they've gone and done like Count Dooku and Ventress lightsaber hilts, but for like most characters, I think the regular one just works fine, and it's been the same since 1999, except for kind of the color changes it's gone through. The chrome one was the best one. Now, when it comes to the battle droids, there have been slight variations, but generally the battle droid design, that is a Star Wars piece that should probably never change. Everything else, like, is open to improving. Like, because why not? User TV9UC2VO2L says, so I've been saving for the Venator and want your opinion on whether I should buy it now or wait until May 4th. So it's the first week of April. May 4th promotions are less than a month away, and you should definitely be waiting. I bought 3 UCS Venators like a week ago, and that was frankly kind of a mistake. I shouldn't have done that, but I wanted to release my Venator video around May 4th. There's the very slim outside chance that they'll have it on some sort of actual sale, or it could be one of the sets that last year they did for the first time, I think in America, 5x VIP points. I don't know if that's coming back or not, but there's the outside chance of things like that. So at the very least, you're guaranteed 5% more VIP points plus promos. I see zero harm in waiting the extra month to take advantage of that, because you're still going to have your credit card cash back. You're still going to get your Rakuten cash back at 1.5% at the very least. Like, the only thing that can happen is you're going to get a better deal than you would now. So I would definitely wait. No one really should be buying any LEGO Star Wars stuff from LEGO in the month of April. It makes zero sense, because come May 1st, you just get a better deal, and you know you're going to get a better deal. Next question from Carson says, I never like losing my LEGO selling profits due to the fees of online marketplaces ranging from 8% to 15%. I guess it just depends on the marketplace is what he's pointing out. And he says Mercari just dropped their selling fees from 10% down to 0%. I'm not advertising for them, but this is crazy because it's not a promo or limited time deal. That beats fees on any other selling / buying platform like eBay, Whatnot, OfferUp, etc. What do you think of the news? So Mercari did something that blew everyone in the LEGO community's mind. Anyone that sells LEGO was like taking note of what Mercari did. They usually, if you sold anything on Mercari, you would owe them 10% of whatever you sold. And most online marketplaces work like this. eBay works like that. Whatnot works like that. I'm sure StockX works like that, even though I've never use them to sell anything. And like, that's how those websites stay in business. That's how they facilitate all of the transactions. They keep everything smooth. That's how they are able to provide customer service and refunds to people if they need to. And Mercari just said, screw it, we're going to do it for free, 0%. Why not? And on its face, it seemed amazing. Everyone's like, holy crap, Mercari is back in the game, because I remember finding Mercari like 3-4 years ago, kind of before it got really popular. And at the time, I found a lot of really cool stuff, some really good deals. I was just like, I felt like a kid in a candy store on Mercari. It just was a great platform. And over the years, it deteriorated. And I've talked about this, I think recently, but just over the last year or two, how on Mercari, basically, like a lot of the items that you see for sale would just end up being like complete scams, like people selling a sealed UCS dropship with ATOT for like $300. Like, they're not selling it for $300, and the seller would have like zero feedback, right? And like a lot of this would be going on. And so I think it drove a lot of people away from the platform. It drove me away from the platform. I've essentially completely stopped using it. I should be on there trying to spend some of this money, because I every once in a while get like 10 or 20 or $30 of like referral credit from Mercari from like an old video that I did on Mercari that was like, I built my clone army on Mercari. And so I get like a $10 credit whenever people like come across that video and then they sign up. This is actually a turbo tank I need for my collection. So it says it's $785. I have $120 in credits right now, because it says I can get $120 off of this particular turbo tank. Maybe it hasn't gone into effect yet, but essentially I've seen screenshots. The buyers now pay a fee that's like equivalent to 10%. So now whenever you see the price for something, that's not really the price you're about to pay, plus your tax and shipping. The news on its face sounded really amazing, and it was like a really exciting like 5 minutes. I was like, how are they doing this? I sent it to a couple of my friends. I sent it to some people I know from like Whatnot, and I was just like, what's going on? This is crazy. And then I was like, there's no way. And then sure as crap, like it's just all pushed onto the buyer. So it's like the same thing anyway. So I think they were just trying to like get people to come back to the platform because there's probably just been a mass exodus because they've been allowing scams. And so I think it was basically a marketing ploy and to try to get people to come back. And I think they just, yeah, it's done. It's just over. Next question from Reed Rice says, what is the best / most reliable place or website to sell Lego sets? I live near Bricks and Minifigs, but I'm not sure how to properly value sets. I don't need to maximize profit, but I don't want to get taken advantage of or lowballed. Thanks and love your content. So this is what I know about Bricks and Minifigs specifically, or maybe my most recent experience. Me and my buddy Rod, we went into the store and he was trading in some like 501st battle packs, and I think the store offered him $15 store, it's not even cash, store credit for a sealed 2020 501st battle pack. That set's probably worth $40 or $50 right now. I obviously understand that you need to make a profit, this, that, and the other, but $15 store credit, which would probably, like if they offered cash, probably be like $10 cash for a set that's worth 40 or 50 is crazy. I obviously kind of have a partnership with Atlanta/Orlando Brick Co. And because of that, I kind of know how their system works basically. So I do know, like, and just to give you a reference, basically, you seem to want to just sell it all at once, which means you are going to have to sell it for less. You're doing a bulk deal. You're not doing any of the work to actually sell it and having any of the overhead involved with that or shipping material. So many things involved. But you could sell it yourself on eBay, whatnot, Mercari. You're just going to have to do more work and pay fees, this, that, and the other. Now, if you want to bring it to a place like a Bricks and Minifigs, like in Atlanta or Orlando Brick Co., the way it generally works at like Orlando Brick Co. is that if you bring in a brand new sealed set, and I probably should just hold a box then, a brand new sealed set that is currently available at retail, in store credit, they will give you full value. Like, you would get the $100 of store credit for R2D2. If you take cash, you get half. Now, when it comes to retired sets, it's obviously going to be a little bit more all over the place because there's not really a set in stone like price to look at. So like we know the retail of this is 100, but let's say it's retired and it's worth about 200. I think they would probably give you about 200 in store credit and probably half in cash again. They probably just look it up on Bricklink, but I don't know the exact process behind that. But that's kind of the little bit of insight I can give you if you're trying to take it into a store. I'm sure the Bricks and Minifig stores can vary store to store. What I would highly suggest doing is figuring out whatever you have is worth, maybe taking 30 or 40% off that and just saying like, that's your number, that's what you want, and you're not going to take anything less. Like that's the only way you can probably really do it. Next question from Eric Brick says, do you still collect Black Series and how big is your collection now? I've pretty much stopped buying Black Series, like just full stop, cold turkey. I realized that it's just too much. Like I already can't even display all of my Lego. So like I just have a bunch of Black Series downstairs in the garage and I'm probably going to sell it this summer. I'm going to get rid of it. I'll probably keep between a half dozen and a dozen of them that are just my favorites, but it's something that I'm not actively making content on for like MandR Collects. I don't have the time to make content on or focus on. They've been screwing around with the packaging too much to me, like where they're changing it around from what I, started collecting it for. I'm out. I'll just sell it all. So that'll be something I sell and whatnot at some point. Next question from I Am That Guy Bob 1986. He says, I am excited about the Grogu Escape set. There's nothing wrong with this set except for the helmet holes, dang right. And I wonder if the sidecar will be able to have a minifigure sit there or if the spot is just for the Pram and Grogu. And this is not something I really considered. Like I assume it's just for the Pram and Grogu. And we can assume that the Pram is going to be removable from the sidecar. However, that will leave a rather large gap where the Pram was within the sidecar. It'll be a gap large enough to allow a minifigure to sit there. However, I imagine the gap with the minifigure there would just still look awkward. So yeah, you can probably, certainly put a figure there. Steve Gallo says, there's been another Lego Star Wars leak. Color me shocked. And there is one more 25th anniversary minifigure coming this year. R2KT was revealed in the leak as the minifigure. What set that figure will come with is not known at this time. The final 25th anniversary figure was supposed to come with the 25th anniversary celebration set at the end of the year, but we don't know anything about it. It's kind of the equivalent to last year's Millennium Falcon holiday diorama. We don't know what the actual build or contents of the set will be. I guess outside of maybe it will have R2KT here, which for all intents and purposes, it's a pink R2D2 for most casual fans. That's what you'll see. It'll just be like an R2D2 minifigure with pink markings instead of dark blue markings, which would be pretty cool and unique. He says, knowing the reason R2KT was created and placed in the Clone Wars series, this is a good figure choice for the anniversary series regarding Jabba's sail barge. I will be really surprised if Slave Leia is included because Disney has prevented that version of Slave Leia or of Leia being made in any form. And so we'll see about that Slave Leia come, I don't know, October. So it does have a pretty cool story behind it. If you want to look it up and learn more, definitely do that. But from a Lego Star Wars perspective, I think it's a cool figure because we've seen it previously kind of as a prototype minifigure. I believe in the Lego Star Wars Visual Dictionary, they show this back in 2009 maybe, or 2014. I'm not sure which one. But there's a picture that exists of like the wall of like every Lego Star Wars figure ever. And at the bottom, there's like a prototype section. And down there, I think, was a pink R2D2 or obviously here R2KT. So I think this is going to be a fantastic figure, a nice addition, and this is certainly one that we would have never gotten otherwise. And so I think from that perspective alone, it's a great choice. It's definitely going to be a nice final addition to our 25th anniversary minifigure display. Braxton says, what's been the most controversial set / wave of sets and why? I think the most controversial set overall, like uproar in the community, singular set is the UCS gunship, and it's not even close. When it comes to wave of sets, I also think that same year in January of 2021, we had the most controversial wave. It was the January-March wave kind of split in two, and they were both on their own, like really small, tiny, weird waves. But in January, we got the X-Wing and TIE Fighter that were downsized. The X-Wing wasn't a bad set. The TIE Fighter, not great. Regardless, though, they were massive downsizes, and they had just retired like a year prior. So people were like, oh, great, another one instead of like an ARC 170 or a Droid Truck. You know, there's so many cool things that people have been wanting for a long time at that point, and they just did another X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and then they were downsized. That was very controversial, as was the Imperial Shuttle, which was another like remake, which had been a little bit longer since it had been made and had some like appropriate like recent appearance in The Mandalorian, but still it was mostly controversial because it had the weird like really big chin thing going on, or like under area. I don't know. It was bad from that angle. I think that January 21 wave will go down as the most controversial wave because of just like how many remakes and things there were. I mean, the only thing that could have made it worse was another Luke's land speeder, which, I mean, they ended up releasing a UCS one a year later. David says, if you could interview any Lego designer or content creator, who would it be? It would be Jens. He is the like leader of Lego Star Wars. He's the guy in charge. He's been there since it started in 1999. He probably knows more than anyone, and I would love to pick his brain for as many hours as I could. The Real Seal Studios, with an interesting perspective, says, do you find all the different styles for Lego quite complicated? I find all the different box arts and colored stripes quite confusing. It might just be me. Personally, I don't find it quite confusing. That is probably because I spend a lot of time thinking about it and how it should work and how it does work. But it's pretty basic if you break it down. Essentially, if a set is a play set, which also means like a display set, because plenty of the play sets are great display sets and Lego makes them for both audiences at the same time. Example right here, which is actually a bad example because they actually did make it more confusing with this one. But essentially, if it is a play set from episodes 1 through 9, it will get this box art. Okay, it is confusing. I'm trying to explain it. Like, I understand it, but like, if it's a 25th anniversary set, it gets the blue art. But if it was a normal set, it would get the dark blue art and have Darth Vader at the bottom. And then if it's a set that's not from one of the movies, so if it's supposed to be based on the Clone Wars TV show, it gets the 332nd Trooper in the corner instead of Darth Vader, unless it's the ATTE, which is from Revenge of the Sith, which should be a Darth Vader box art. When it's an 18 plus set, it just gets black box art, like just across the board, doesn't matter. There's no real difference between each set with the black box art, except now with the 25th anniversary, the little bottom strip ends up getting like the same blue color, and then it'll have a 25th anniversary logo. So there's a little like separate kind of celebratory art from time to time like that, but generally just all black box art for the 18 plus adult sets. I understand why you find it confusing. I don't personally find it confusing, but when the people whose job it is to actually make the arts can't even get it right 100% of the time, it probably is too confusing for like a general consumer, and so I get it. Next question from Captain Rex says, what is your dream car and what car do you have right now? So if you watch my vlog channel for a long time, I have a Mustang, a Ford Mustang from 2020. I did a little bit of a vlog of buying it, but I was a little bit nervous to film like much of the buying process, so I didn't. But I bought it 4 years ago now, so I've had that car 4 years. Love it, paid off. Don't really want to buy anything new because I have a paid off car. I think that's like the ultimate like goal, to not have to be paying a monthly car payment. So that is my current car, but my dream car currently, the one I keep eyeballing, is like a blue C8 Corvette, which is like ridiculous. It looks stupid, but it's so cool. So like, you know, 5-year-old me always wanted a blue car. So that's kind of where that comes from, I think. And so we'll see. I am not like in any rush to spend as much money on a car as that costs, because my car is paid off. Why would I do that? But yeah, that's the dream car. Why not? Bob Rock says, pull out your phone and call the last person you called and ask them what their opinion on Lego is. So last person I called, not last person that called me. The person who called me last, Sean the right way. Look at that. He made a Bitmoji. Isn't that cute?
You know, I think it's a fine product. There's areas of opportunity, but, you know, I enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah, I like that answer. Okay. Thank you.